Hey everybody, how are you guys doing today? It's another Wednesday with Morgan. My name is Morgan Tapp, and I'm with Papillon House Bookkeeping. For those of you who maybe don't know or recognize me or have not just automatically tuned in to our little lives here. But what I like to do is I like to pop over once a week. I do my best. I'm not always here on a weekly basis, but I try really hard to kind of share some tips with you guys. Tips for business owners, professional bookkeeping. I have a professional bookkeeping company, and I kind of take everything that my clients have told me and I put it together and try to come up with ways to help you guys. It's just what I like to do. It's my way of kind of making bookkeeping more fun. It doesn't have to be such a headache and it doesn't have to be so scary. I can't tell you how many times I get phone calls from business owners and they're like, I am trying to do all of these things and I hate it. It's so hard. So I come over here and I act a little silly and sometimes I stutter because, it's hard to be on camera. But I try to give you guys some tips and I try to be real and yeah, what you see is what you get over here. This is about as authentic as I get in all of my glorious blonde glory. Yeah, that was glory twice. That's okay. You're welcome. I told you I'd be real. So we are in the fourth quarter. We have just wrapped up third quarter. If you were on extension, you are done, man. You've got your business taxes in by September, you've got personal taxes done by October, and you get a couple months to coast before it starts all over again. But let's be realistic. We're all entrepreneurs here. We have the holidays coming right around the corner, and I don't know if you guys have kids, but I do. So there is no break. Now that tax season is over, it's straight into the holiday season. But that's not what we're actually talking about today. Although, that would be kind of fun. What are some traditions that you guys do for your holidays? Anything funky, anything weird? What's your favorite? Drop them in my comments below, and I would love to know. Um, okay, let's see. What are we going to talk about? Let's talk today about where we are. It's end of the year, and what have you gotten done? Yeah, I know. That's kind of a hard question, right? Nobody wants to look at that. But let's think about it. What were your goals? What were your financial business goals or just your business goals in the beginning of the year? And how far did you come to accomplishing them? Did you accomplish them? If you did, great. I want to know about it. Please tell me. I love positivity. If you did not reach your goals, let's dive into why. Let's see where we went wrong and how we can fix it. Because, as my 7-year-old says, mistakes are part of learning. So, if you've ever sat around and come up with a goal, and most of the time that goal is centered around money when it comes to business, let's be honest, I want X number of clients in addition this year. I want Y number of dollars in addition this year. I want to be able to hire 3 employees. Okay. What did you do to make that happen? All right. Did you make a plan? If they were centered around numbers, around money, did you make a plan for how much money that was going to cost you and how many new clients or how much revenue it was going to take to make those goals a reality? If you didn't, well, I don't want to be mean, but if you didn't do that, it's probably why you didn't meet your goal. Please don't hate me. Planning makes things happen. I'm sorry. Moving right along. If you did plan, let's pretend for numbers, okay? You guys know that I like easy peasy numbers because it is super hard for me to sit on this camera, not lose focus, make eye contact correctly, and you want me to think and do mental math, which I did say over this past weekend was the most underrated skill for the average person. You guys, mental math, it's important. Anyways, so let's pretend that your goal was to hire 2 new employees, okay? Now, let's just say that those employees are going to get $5,000 a month because you're a baller, and that $10,000, we're not going to talk about taxes, okay? Just go with my easy numbers, please. Um, $10,000 a month, okay? $10,000 a month is, we'll say, I don't know, one client, because y'all are awesome. So it's one client. You need one new client. Well, what are you going to have to do to get that client? You need $10,000 in revenue. You're going to have to up your advertising budget by whatever, easy math, 2 grand a month in order to get that. Okay, well, you're going to spend 2,000 to get 10,000 to be able to hire 2 people. That's the plan. Did you do it? Did you call the advertising company? Did you increase? If you did and it didn't work, let's look at why. Maybe you got that client, but you couldn't get it for 10,000. Maybe it was a smaller client, or maybe you did and you realized you still couldn't hire 2 people because you weren't accounting for some other revenues, right? I'm sorry, some other expenses, okay? When things don't go how you're expecting them to go, take a breath and see if you can find where maybe you zigged when you should have zagged, or when you went left when you should have gone right. Okay. Evaluate the goal, analyze your setback. If you did not accomplish your goal because your plan did not work, figure out why. I usually can trace those things back to numbers. Did you have accurate reporting? Did you account for the fact that whatever months that you were trying to gain that like, did you account for the fact that revenue ebbs and flows? So you have every January is a really hard month and every October is a really great month. Did you account for that in your master plan? Because, we don't just need $10,000 for this hypothetical goal once. We need $10,000 forever, like the whole year. So if you forgot to take into consideration the fact that some months are better than others, and you just said, okay, $10,000, but maybe you really needed 12,000 in July because, that's the month that you have certain expenses due. Or for a lot of my attorneys, right around December, January, sometimes as late as February, all your licenses renew. And maybe you didn't take into account that that particular month your overhead was going to be way higher and you couldn't afford those 2 employees. Those are the things that you have to consider and look at when you're making your plans. I like to tell my clients to gather, if possible, 18 months of data. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd have like 24 or even 36 months, but I know that is me that's the best case scenario, perfect world case scenario. If you could look at 2 or 3 years of monthly financials, you would see patterns, and oh my gosh, you would just have so much great data that you could analyze, and then you could start doing forecasting and stuff like that. But that's a different topic. I will not stray from where we are, and where we are is planning. Okay. So, did you look at your numbers when you decided to make this plan? Right? If you did, wonderful. I hope you met your goal. If you did not, and you still met your goal, well, great, good for you. Make harder goals, make bigger goals. If you didn't, did I say did? I'm very distracted today. Either way, if you did, great. If you did not, numbers. You need that data. I can't tell you how many times people are like, yeah, but I have money in the bank. Money in the bank means nothing. That money is poof, it's not even there because you have to spend it. You're just not thinking about that yet. So you need the numbers to know how much you have to spend, how much you should be bringing in. And that little beautiful number at the bottom of the page that says net, that's your profit. In tax time, you want it really small, and for the whole rest of the year, you want it ginormous. I know what's up. Okay, so if you did not, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. Told you I was real. Okay. When you have a setback, you want to be resilient. You can't just give up. You can't just get upset and say, crap, I failed, I stink. Okay. You have to be adaptable. You have to recalibrate, relook at those numbers, see where you went wrong, get back on track. Think about this. I want you to take that goal and prioritize it. Okay. If 2 employees is your dream goal, well, then you have to look at what does it take to get that. We call it backwards planning. Okay. You want to look at where you need to go all the way down to the tiniest bit, which is maybe writing an article or writing an ad for LinkedIn or Indeed or however you get applicants to come through. Maybe it's going to the local university and looking at graduates. You have to decide what caliber of employee you want. Do you want somebody brand new for a cheaper salary that you can train, or do you want somebody experienced that is going to maybe have a higher salary but it's going to require much less training so they can hit the ground running? You have to decide all of that. And if you did, great. Look at your master plan and see where did it go wrong. If you're in your business the way I know most of you are, you're going to know where you went off track. It might stink. It might be a little bit of a hard blow, but you're going to know it. And, we're about growth, okay? There's no room for blame. There's no room for beating ourselves up. It's just, I went left. That was not correct. Course correct. Let's go right, okay? If you can do things like automation, something that will not take away from your revenue producing tasks and yet will also boost your productivity, look into those. If you can outsource or delegate things in order to make your life easier so that you can devote more of your time to those revenue producing tasks. I'm always going to advocate for professional bookkeeping. I feel like once you hit the level that is outside of baby beginner and into intermediate and absolutely into advanced, you have to have that outsourced. You have to have somebody in there who is a professional, who understands your business and can do it for you. That's the honest to God's truth, because you can make so much more money doing your zone of genius, as they say these days. And I am inside my zone of genius, and I'm feeding you. I am feeding you the information you need in order to stay on your master plan, because you can't do it if you don't know where your business is. You can't make the right investments. You can't pull back and hold on to overhead and be like, what am I saying? Not spending. I don't know why I can't think of the phrase right now. A lean overhead. You can't do that if you don't know where you are, if you're only looking at the balance in the bank, because it's just dangerous, because you're not taking into account the expenses that you're going to have in the future if you're just looking at the money in your bank account. Okay, so if you are already delegating or outsourcing those things, maybe look at continuous education, some continual learning. Maybe there's a new strategy or a trick out there for your business, your industry that has changed. Maybe some new regulations, new software. I just had 2 clients, oddly enough, 2 clients in the last month who had not heard of this very common software for architects. And I had 2 other architects who are using it. And I was like, hey, have you guys heard of this one over here? And they're like, oh, I remember that from forever ago, but it was really expensive back then. And I was like, well, actually, they've come up with a lot of new plans, and now they base it kind of around like the size of your firm. One of them checked it out, booked a demo, purchased the software all within the next week, and then emailed me like, holy crap, you saved the business. Thank you. I never would have thought of this because I had just written it off in my head. Then the second client is trying it out next week. That's on their task list. So you never know if you recircle back around to things that perhaps you've already tried, but they've come out with new things or they've kind of revamped what they were doing before. That happens all the time. And for my lawyers, everybody's go-to is Clio. Guys, there are so many more softwares out there now than just Clio, and Clio is not necessarily the best fit for every law firm. I mean, I hate to say that because I love Clio, but I got to be real here. There's a lot of other stuff out there that work great for attorneys. Okay, so you need to be able to adapt your goals and have realistic planning. Maybe you gave yourself a goal that was just way too large. Maybe instead of doubling your revenue, you thought, I'm going to triple it this year. And it was just you bit off more than you could chew and it didn't happen. Okay, but you tried. And as long as you've stayed consistent to the plan, maybe there was nothing wrong with your plan. Your goal just couldn't be accomplished in 12 months. That's a possibility. It happens. So, either way, even though we're outside of our normal, our, extended tax time and we have a little bit of a break, I want you to not rest. I know you deserve a rest, but we're pushing, right? We all want that $1 million. So take this time to reflect on where you were, where you are, and where you want to be. And let's look at how to get there. And if you haven't gotten there, let's see how we can get some help to make it real. Okay? And if you need help, I am always here for you. Of course, you have to know this. My name is Morgan Tapp, and I have a professional bookkeeping company that specializes in attorneys, architects, small business. It's all there. And I'm the easiest person to get a hold of. Okay? Just email me, morgan@papillon.house, or go to my website, papillon.house. It's on the back of my screen, although it might be a little cut off today. I will definitely fix that for next week. But you can comment below if my background is messed up, and I will reach out to you personally because that's how we do things around here. Email is definitely the best way to get a hold of me, but I am so easy. And even if you're not a client, even if you don't want to be a client, you just have a question, I'm here for you. I don't even care. Just reach out. I'm so easy to talk to in case you can't tell. But I hope this has been helpful. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.